All right, guys, it is time to preview the American League Central. Of course, the Guardians are the reigning champions of that division, going 92-69 last season. In third place, we'll start here with the Detroit Tigers. They went 86-76, made the playoffs last season, of course, met up with our Cleveland Guardians in the postseason, and damn, did they make that an interesting series. Cleveland's getting by that on the skin of their teeth. Thank you, Lane Thomas. Jack, we start with the Detroit Tigers. Not many moves in the offseason. They re-signed Jack Flaherty to a 2-year contract, but really outside of that, no notable names. A lot of minor league deals with a couple pitchers, but that's about it, Jack. The squad we saw last year from Detroit is pretty much going to be the same squad that we see rolling into this year.
The Fighting Kerry Carpenters.
There you go. Oh,
Kerry Bonds, baby.
What a tool that kid was.
That's what they call him up there, Kerry Bonds.
That dude made us so mad.
He's a damn good ball player, though, because, I think he hit about...
He infuriated us, though. He was insanely clutch as well.
Yeah, he's super clutch, and he was injured for a lot of last year and still basically replicated what he did in 2023, so watch for him, specifically against right-handed pitching, to keep it up again, but... This team scares me a lot, guys, when it comes to the AL Central for 2025, because in my opinion, they have the best starting rotation of anyone in the division. So obviously you get Tarek Skubal back, Cy Young winner, had an incredible postseason against us as well up until, again, thank you, Lane Thomas, as you so kindly said earlier, Ryan. Adding in Jack Flaherty, getting him back is incredible for this organization, because if you think about it, when the deadline came up, the Motor City Kitties were kind of out of it. So when they moved on from Jack Flaherty, it was like, okay, we're not going to go from this. They get hot. They become the Gritty Tugs sometime in the middle of August. Damn, you wish you had Jack Flaherty. Well, now you have him back. They have Jackson Jobe, who's the number 5 prospect in baseball, who got called up for the postseason run and was coming out of the bullpen for them. He'll be a full-time starter and stretched out this year. So, man, that's a scary rotation. They're going to have to find something between Reese Olson, Kenta Maeda, a couple of guys to shore that up. But man, Ryan, that is a really good starting rotation. Like you said, the lineup didn't get a whole ton better, but I personally love the Gleyber Torres edition. I really wanted us to go out and get Gleyber Torres. He's a great right-handed bat, and they kind of struggled to figure out who was going to play second base for a lot of last year. They got that McKinstry kid who was playing a bit against us in the playoffs. Like, I don't really think he's special. Obviously, Javier Baez became a $30-something million hole because he can't play baseball, and he swings at every slider in the other batter's box. So, yeah, I mean, when you're looking at it, they did a ton of, like, micro transactions, not really a ton of big major moves. But, yeah, getting Flaherty back and adding Gleyber might have been all this team really needed to shore themselves up as a sure playoff team.
Yeah, they obviously have Tarek Skubal, the reigning AL Cy Young winner. All right, we go to the Royals, who also finished 86-76 and made the postseason. They bowed out in the first round to the New York Yankees. Kansas City, just 2 years removed from a 100-loss season. They've really turned that thing around down there in Missouri. Similar to Detroit, no real crazy offseason moves for the Kansas City Royals. It's obviously the Bobby Witt show there. You got good starting rotation, but they didn't make any moves. Not that they needed to. I mean, still made the postseason. What do you see out of Kansas City this year?
They've got a prospect, Tony Bame, coming up in the farm system.
Yeah,
out there.
Yeah, they got a guy named Tony Bame. As long as he stays out of the substance abuse policy program, he'll be just good entering the season down there at Kauffman Stadium. This is a team, Ryan. I honestly, and I haven't had this thought once until right now, but I'm going to declare it live without thinking about it because that's what you do. I'm going to call it down year out of the Kansas City Royals. This reminds me a lot of when we were pretty good in 2022 and starting to get there, but we didn't really do enough in the offseason to supplement a lot of career years. I think the Royals come back crashing down a bit this year. I think their starting rotation is very, very suspect. I love Cole Reagans at the top of that rotation. Seth Lugo is the number 2. He was an all-star last year, but he's one of those guys who it's really tough for me to bank on a guy who never figured it out when he was younger, had a career year. And is he going to do it again? I don't picture him. I mean, he's better than Ben Lively. He has better natural stuff than Ben Lively. But he kind of is in the Ben Lively train of, okay, is this guy going to be what he was his whole entire career? Or is he going to be what he was last year? So that's really interesting because then after him, it's like Michael Wacha's in that rotation.
Seth Lugo.
Did I not say it? Seth Lugo is who I was just talking about. So maybe I messed up the name I was saying.
Or I wasn't listening, which is very possible.
Chris Bubich. But I mean, they have a good bullpen. I like Carlos Estevez, their closer.
Bubich?
Yeah, he's one of their starting pitchers.
That's a cool last name.
Yeah, it is a cool last name. But it's going to be their lineup that I just don't think they're quite there yet. I think Bobby Witt is the best player in the division. Shoot me. I don't think anyone's going to argue you on that right now. And after that, like Vinny Pasquantino's a good player, but he has injury issues. Michael Massey, good player, injury issues. I just don't know if that lineup is all the way there yet. I think they have a good top 4 to 5, but I still think they're still missing two starting pitchers and probably two good bats. And I don't know. The one name I'll give you to watch, though, with the Royals this year is MJ Melendez, because he's a guy who came up. He was a top catching prospect. It's really tough to be the top catching prospect of an organization that has Salvador Perez as their starting catcher. So MJ Melendez has been moved around in and out of the outfield. He's always had a halfway decent bat, but is he finally going to stick to one position and figure it out in totality? We're going to find out.
Hey, well, they did sign our old friend in Cleveland, Mike Clevenger, to a minor league deal. That's a known enemy of McNeil, correct, Nick?
Oh yeah. That and talk about a tour of the American League Central. Like Mike Clevenger's kind of finding his way around from Cleveland to the Chi Sox, now KC. Yeah, that's a deep cut reflux beef for sure.
All right, well, probably the most annoying fan base on Twitter, in my opinion, the Minnesota Twins, who for some reason think they're better than everybody else, even though they're not. They went 82-80, missed the postseason last year. In terms of offseason moves, they signed Harrison Bader, left-handed pitcher Danny Columbi. I don't even know who that is, to be honest with you.
He's a good reliever. He'll help them a little bit.
Derek Falvey is elevated to president. Like the AL Central not many moves.
I might go to a Twins game this year. I've always wanted to check out that Target Field, and like this might be the year. One of my friends lives in Grand Forks, North Dakota, which is up there for sure, but it's drivable for him to go to Minnesota. So I might link up with one of my old college roommates in Minnesota and check out that stadium.
Yeah, the Twins, it's going to be the same story as it is every single year since probably 2019 for the Twins. It's, are they going to stay healthy? And are the one-year guys they sign going to do anything? Is Byron Buxton going to be healthy, or is Byron Buxton going to play 60 games? Royce Lewis, if he plays 162 games, might prove himself to be a top 3 player in this division, but we need him to sit and play 162 games. The guy gets hurt every 5 minutes. That's going to be the story this season again. Same with Joe Ryan in their starting rotation. Had a bad 2023, was injury prone. 2024 comes back and becomes the normal Joe Ryan, who can be the ace of the Twins or any team in baseball. Pablo Lopez, it's about him getting back to that 2023 level. Simeon Woods Richardson, their young starting pitcher, another guy who's injury prone, who is going to need to make an impact for them this year. So the Twins, it's always going to come down to, can they be healthy? But even if this team stays healthy, I genuinely don't know if they have it to keep up with the rest of the division. I
need to correct a mistake I made. Mike Clevenger is on the White Sox still. I was reading the White Sox thing. I thought it was the Royals. He is on the White Sox.
Okay.
I mean,
I think he's hurt, though. He might even be out for a while.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk about the White Sox for a minute. I mean, what are we going to say about them? The worst franchise in the MLB right now. Had the worst season we've ever seen last season. Don't think they got much better. Obviously, you part ways with Garrett Crochet, the one redeeming quality on your team. They signed Joey Gallo to a minor league contract. He used to be good. And that's really about it. They have old friend James Karinchak, tight pants as well. Another year of 30 wins for this White Sox team, Jack?
Yeah, I feel really bad for White Sox fans because this team is going to be really, really bad. But the one silver lining we'll take out of the playbook here for the folks on the South Side is that at least if you look at last year's White Sox team, it was a really shitty team and you couldn't even enjoy your prospects. There wasn't even anything to look forward to. It was just Garrett Crochet gets to go once every 5 days and shove, and that was your whole entire season. At least this year, Kyle Teal, who they got back for Crochet, is going to be starting the year as the catcher. They got that crap. I forget the shortstop's name, but the number 2 kid they got back in that trade as well probably will be ready this season. Edgar Cuero, who they got from the Angels, is another. So they have 2 really good young starting catching prospects. So those 2 kids will rotate time. The rotation, Jonathan Cannon is ready for year 2, so that's going to be their cool thing to look forward to. If he can kind of lead that rotation. He had terrible home road splits last year, but hopefully if he can transition what he did at home into being on the road as well, he can kind of form himself as the future of that organization. Hagen Smith, the left-handed pitcher, starter, will be up sometime this year as well for them. They got another They have a 3rd good starting pitching prospect who also probably is going to be making his way towards the majors sometime in the middle of this year. So at least for them, there's stuff to look forward to.